There, it's David. Welcome or welcome back to CrossFit Fitness, helping men and women get in the best spiritual shape of their lives one workout at a time. Quick thought in this video that I'm calling the traitor within. The traitor within. You know, whether we're a man or woman of God, there is an enemy. In fact, there's multiple enemies that come against us in our walk with Christ. There's three I want to point out, and one asset that God has given us that I want us to utilize and capitalize on. First, the enemies, okay? The enemy, first of all, we got the devil. Okay, that's obvious, right? Devil, his demonic hierarchy and infrastructure, however that all works. There is a real devil, a real demonic activity, and the invisible world that overlaps our own. And we are impacted, affected, and influenced by these forces of darkness. They had millennia, really, to study mankind in general, and at least our lifespan to study us and our proclivities and weaknesses and things that are temptation triggers to us. So there's the devil, we could say, generally speaking. Secondly, it's the world, okay, the world system, which there's a large antichrist movement throughout the world, and Hollywood and media and big tech, big business, and all of that, all designed to distract us, distress us, and lure us away to think that our lives will be better if we buy this product, or we got to be like this person. So there's this trap of comparison. It's horrendous. It's just horrendous what the world does to just beat the crap out of us if we'll allow it to. And then the third enemy is what I'm calling the traitor within, and this is our own flesh. Oh, the flesh wants what it wants when it wants it, and cries like a big old baby when it doesn't get its way. And, that manifests to one degree or another, whether we're a young person or we're a full-blown adult. We either throw stuff or peel out in the car or slam a door or give somebody the finger, or, I don't know how none of us as Christians should be doing any of that. But nevertheless, things happen. We get our buttons pushed, and the traitor within betrays us, and we sell out to our own flesh, and we eat more than we should. We don't exercise as much as we should, and we don't bounce our eyes away from seeing something that we shouldn't look at, and on and on and on. The list can go. So what's the solution to that? Well, one solution, not the entire solution, but one thing that the Lord gives us is found in Ephesians chapter 6. It's the full armor of God. It's the full armor of God, right? And so we can put on, first of all, we need to be aware of what is the armor of God. We got to know our equipment. Number one, we got to know our equipment: the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, a belt of truth. He's shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, taking up the shield of faith to extinguish the fiery darts of the enemy, and wielding the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Okay, there's your full armor. So number one, we got to be familiar with the equipment. Number two, we need to put on the full armor of God. We put it all on. Put it all on. Don't leave your helmet off. It's like, you ever seen somebody ride a motorcycle without a helmet? It's like, no bueno, okay? So put on all the armor. And then number three is keep your armor on all the time. I was listening to a sermon this morning. I was getting some steps in by Dr. Mark Hitchcock, who was talking about this guy back in the 1100s or something in Northern Ireland. He was a legendary warrior, and the opposing king said, "I want that man killed," and but they couldn't figure out how to do it. He was just so vigilant as a warrior, and so he hired some people to interview his own men. So how can we kill him? He said, "Well, you can't. He sleeps in his armor all the time." He said, "Well, what's his vulnerabilities?" They said, "Well, he's a very holy man. He's a very righteous man. He loves God. And one day per year, one day and one day only, he takes his armor off." I think it was on, let's say, Easter Sunday, whatever. And he would go to the church, and he'd take off his armor, and he'd walk barefoot around the sanctuary like 7 times or something. He did this year after year after year, and his men knew that. They reported that to the enemies, and so guess what happened? Obviously, the enemy came in on that one day when the man had his armor off, and the guy famously, ripped a crossbow out of someone's thing. He killed 13 men with a pole or something before they killed him and took him out on the one day he didn't have his armor on. And so, well, the moral of that story is, one moral of the story is keep your armor on. That's what I want to tell you. Keep your armor on. And I'm speaking metaphorically, obviously, but we can put on this full armor of God, and then we could just rehearse it. We can thank God for it. As you get out of the shower and you're just toweling off and you're putting on your clothes in the locker room at Gold's Gym or whatever, just say, hey, Lord, I'm just going to review what I have on, and I'm going to keep the full armor on. I'm going to remember what it's for. I'm going to use the offensive weapon of the Word of God through the Bible, that kind of thing. So anyway, the enemy within, our flesh, will betray us a lot unless we get it controlled. We got to say, body, you line up with my soul. Mind, will, and emotions, you line up with my spirit. Spirit of David, you line up with the Spirit of God and the Word of God. And let's keep things in proper order. Keep our flesh under control. What we feed grows, what we starve dies. So let's not feed the flesh. Let's feed on the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth through all the good preaching and podcasts and YouTube channels and books and things we can read that exhort and expound on the Word of God, the Bible, which is our all-sufficient rule for faith and conduct. Okay? Hope that helps a little bit. For now, I'm David, your virtual mentor, to remind you that I'm always for you, never against you. Blessings and peace. Take care.